Well, welcome everybody. This is going to be fun, I hope. I'm sure it is for me. Couple of logistical things. First of all, well, can you hear me? Is this mic working well enough?
Hear you really good.
Excellent. And next week there will be a different participant access code because I discovered that my host access code is hosting a different conference call number than the participant access code is participating in. So I don't have a host access code that goes with this, so I'm a participant just like you, which I will be anyway, but the thing is I cannot mute your phones or check counts or anything. So next week I'll have a coordinated set of numbers. So before you come in next week, make sure you check on the website to see what the new access code is. And the other thing is a little microphone problem. One of the second mic doesn't seem to be functioning, so we're going to have to work a little bit to pass this one around when we get into the workshop part of the session. We'll see how that unfolds. It's just the first week gearing up problems. I always assume everything's going to work perfectly, and it must be, but it sometimes doesn't look like it's perfect. I'm reasonably excited about this class. It's been unfolding for quite a while now. Every morning I get up and listen to a Joel tape. Most of you, by the way, are on the email list for the Joel tape number, and if you're not, why, let me know and email me and I'll put you on it. We have an email list of 27 people who are all listening to the same Joel tape every day, which probably helps because that way we're coordinated and we have a large group working with the same tape. In any event, I send out that email first thing in the morning, and then I listen to that tape, and I listen to it in a very funny way. It takes me about 3 hours to hear the tape. I listen to it until Joel has said something, and then I stop. In fact, I stop after almost every sentence just to quickly check back over the sentence and make sure I heard it, that I know what it said. And then if it's something that seems like it indicates it, I usually ponder it for a minute or two, think about it, think about what it means and that's like, and then I get quiet. And for the last several months now, during the quiet period, sometimes I'm getting, input that says, the first one was, make a note of this for the class. And I didn't have a class scheduled, but, and it's not like I'm hearing a voice, but there's a definite background thought in my mind, and so from then till now, I keep hearing, or keep getting, this is for the class, this is for the class. So about 3 months ago, I accepted the fact that we're having a class, and the name for the class I was given almost immediately is Only God Is. And I thought, fine, I love that. That's my favorite principle, actually. And then just last week, it got expanded to Only God Is and Living the Infinite Way. And just 2 or 3 days ago, it got changed again, Living the Infinite Way through practicing the principles of the Infinite Way. So the class will be certainly reviewing all the principles of the Infinite Way, and that's what the first half of each week's session will be. Will be a brief presentation on one of the principles of the Infinite Way, followed by a period by questions and answers. And see, that I can't turn off the dings and the chongs because I'm not the host. So next week we'll solve that. Any event, the way I think the class is going to work out is I will talk briefly about a principle of the infinite way. And if any questions arise during that, write them down. And then as soon as I'm done talking, which probably won't be more than 15 or 20 minutes, I hope, then will be a good time to bring up your questions on how to make sure that what was presented was clear. Then we'll take a break. Then we'll come back for the second hour, and that period will be for anything, wide open workshop, script work, kid work, anything that's going on in your lives. We'll just talk about anything at all. But the point is that we'll be looking at all that kind of work now from the idea of practicing the principles of the infinite way. A few more things come up before we actually get started. Joel Goldsmith is still to me the most amazing teacher of any of the teachers that I've encountered. And he's a much deeper teacher than most of them because of the healing work. Joel was an amazing healer during his prime, healing like 130 people a day. Do the math, that's thousands of people a month, you know. And he had a very high healing rate. 80% of the people got something equivalent to instantaneous healings, I understand. And the healing work is the fruitage of the principles of the infinite way, because he was so deeply imbued with the principles of the infinite way. This healing work that he did was just natural, and it's just what happened. And many of the other teachers, including my other two teachers, Osho and Robert Adams, are not healers. And very few of the people that are out there presenting various messages don't have the healing consciousness. And that's important to me. It's always been important here for the work we're doing, always been important to me. So part of our work here will be to try to develop the healing consciousness, which has not been very well developed. One of the things that prompted the principles of the infinite way as the subject matter for this class is that I hear from people off and on during the month. It's been a year since the end of our last class almost. By the way, 20 of us are back, which is a really good sign, and there are 5 other people that have joined the class that weren't in the Radical Kid work, but 4 of them have done kid work before, one incarnation or another. In any event, I hear from people off and on, and what's going on is a lot of us are having reoccurring physical problems or financial problems or such like, and we're getting these problems resolved, but momentarily, and then another one just like it comes along and you know, an echo of it happens, except then the echo is sometimes as bad as the original one or worse. So we're not seeing any permanent lifting in consciousness. And I'm going to say right now that I'm going to change the word healing to revealing, because healing is really not healing anything. It's revealing the truth about the situation that we think needs healing. And our revealings are revealing. People get their relief, and then the problem comes back, or a different form of the problem comes back. And I was at a retreat this week with Ken Lasdowski, and one of the insights I got there is the reason that sort of thing is happening is that it's much harder to heal now than it was 50 years ago in Joel's time. And the reason it's harder to heal is because the intensity of what we call CHUB, of collective human beliefs, of collective human consciousness, the intensity of that is so much higher now that the consciousness that's required for a revealing has to be higher and has to be maintained. The media is so intense, and you can't watch television for 15 minutes without a pharmaceutical ad being on telling you about some problem and some fancy little name for it that'll fix it, and the whole world is involved in discovering symptoms and treating them. And it's a pharmaceutical world, and the intensity of the advertising. This is what Joel calls hypnosis. It's constantly reaffirming to us that there is disease and that drugs have power to heal it. And this is quite contrary, as we'll discover over the next few weeks, to the principles of the infinite way. So, and as we know, movies are louder, and lights are louder, and sounds are louder, and everything is more violent, and there's a great intensity building up and building up and building up, which actually I enjoy, because on the other side, there are, if you checked in 50 years ago, you probably could have found 3 or 4 enlightened teachers in this country. And now there's probably 20 in Los Angeles County. There's so much more light in the world, and so many more teachers who can teach at some level of consciousness, but at a level of truth, an appropriate level of truth. There are so many more now that's building up too. There's as much additional light as there is additional darkness, and so that's what's going on. Many of us have been in, as I say, a endless succession of difficulties, apparent difficulties, and I have the sense that we're being brought to the willingness to take seriously the principles of the infinite way and the practice of them. So anyway, that's sort of the origin of the class, the kind of thing that was going on that's been coming to me. I guess that's that for now.